What's up everyone? Today we're going to be playing with only white and black pets. Or I guess I shouldn't be saying that, it's more like monochrome pets, every shade of grey also counts, for this challenge at least. But yeah, I got inspiration for this video from Mqcks. He did basically the opposite thing like a couple of weeks ago. He did like the rainbow challenge where he took one pet of every color of the rainbow. Of course he had to get a little bit creative because the rainbow has 7 colors and you only have 3 slots open. But yeah, I thought why not I just become a plagiarist and take his idea and actually make it the opposite. So yeah, we're going to be doing the white and black challenge, and we're starting off pretty well with a mice plus a goose, and we level up extremely nicely as well. We find a badger, and very nicely that we also have an opossum on the team, so we can sell the opossum onto the badger for the extra stats. The mouse is also going to give us some much needed stats on the badger, plus the rabbit giving some extra HP. I don't know if you should count this as a black and white pet, by the way. The pigeon that I just took, there is a little bit of green on it. I do count it for the challenge though, mostly because I could not fill up the tier 1 pets with exclusively black and white. There are some stuff like that, some colors that show up. There are also some other exceptions, like the penguin has a little bit of yellow/orange on it. You also have pets like basically all the birds you can think of, because their beaks are like yellow and stuff. I don't know if they should count, but for this challenge they do count, so please don't criticize me in the comments, I'm very sensitive. But yeah, we are starting off pretty well. The badger is 12/12 and it has garlic as well. I really like this strategy of putting the badger up at the front. You don't see it every day, most of the people put it at the back, but at the front, scaled up plus level 2 preferably, I think you can do some damage to the opponent that way. But yeah, in the meantime we're going to roll, hopefully finding some triples for tier 5, and indeed we do find a rabbit, which is super nice. I'm thinking about transitioning away from the lemur, that's why I purchased a garlic onto the badger, so that we don't really need to keep buying lemurs over and over, we can just sell it instead and buy something else. Let's hop into battle, we should be winning. I say that, but actually the breakpoints here are terrible and we lose by 1 HP. Maybe with different positioning we could have won, but that's a skill issue I guess. We're going to take a level here perhaps. Yep. And we do find the penguin that was previously mentioned, but we also find a skunk, which I think is going to synergize pretty nicely with the rabbit. We are not going to have lots of attack, instead we're going to have tons of HP. And yeah, I think the skunk removing some HP from the opponents is going to be super beneficial because of that. Interestingly enough, when I was constructing the pack, and believe it or not, the pack construction is honestly half the battle with this kind of challenge, but there are actually 2 main archetypes that started forming. You can see I'm going for the food sort of build with the rabbit. I also do level up into double scalars, and I think I'm going to take the poodle because I've already put garlic on my badger. But yeah, the other archetype that you could maybe pursue is actually a strawberry build, because surprisingly enough, a lot of the strawberry units are black and white. You have the dove, you have the leech, which is black, you also have stuff like the pelican, which is both black and white, I believe. And yeah, I think you also have like guinea fowl's cousin, that I forgot the name of, like the tier 3 unit that scales up when you have a strawberry unit on your team. But yeah, you do have an option of going for strawberry builds as well. I don't remember what color the raptor is, but I think I also have that in the pack. But yeah, thankfully we do not go for the strawberry builds. I feel much more comfortable going for a food build, and you can see why right now. We do have both cow and cat in the pack, because both of them are white and black. Having a rabbit also really helps. So yeah, I think I'm super comfortable going with a food build, and you can see the strength of the food build even with only white and black pets. The badger is scaling up like crazy. We're going to take a level right here, hoping for a cat. I was considering an ostrich there for a second because it's a passive scaler if we decide to freeze some slots, but I think we're happier with a cat. Basically all of the units on our team are going to stay other than the poodle, so I'm hoping we get a level up and we find a cat as soon as possible, and I think it's going to be a pretty easy win from there. For now though, we are not struggling at all. As you can see, one big unit with garlic just destroys all opposition, thankfully, unless they have like a skunk or scorpion or something. I do put a chocolate on the cow right here, just because if I do manage to find another one in the shop, I want the level 2 milks instantly. And unfortunately we don't find it, but here I was considering a crane for a second. I could not tell you what color the crane is, honestly. Like it's like beige maybe, which I don't think corresponds to the black and white monochrome challenge, so I decided to pass it up. Otherwise I could have considered that instead of the poodle. But whatever the case though, we don't need a crane, we stay winning, we do have the stats necessary. And we're going to get a lot more stats this turn with a waffle plus a level 2 cow, so we will have tons of milk for us to drink. Let's take the waffle first, because if we take the cow first, the milk is going to get deleted, or the waffle rather. And thankfully we do level up into a cat, and the better milks are going to be twice as useful, giving +4 +8, which is super nice. The skunk became our second biggest unit in a single turn, which is super nice to see. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty easy from here. Turn 11, we have like 3 decently sized units, and we have tons of scaling ahead of us. Very scary looking opponent team actually, but we just barely win there. Maybe this is the point in the game where I should consider putting the badger at the back, but front badger is funnier, so front badger we shall run. Also pretty interesting that with this sort of build, the fried shrimp actually gives us HP because of the rabbit. -1 +2 makes +1, so good job to you math nerds for finding that out. We also, I guess, have the cat, which can double the negative number, I believe, so from -1 it can make it -2. Whatever the case, I'm rambling, let's continue on with the run. We get super lucky with a double sushi, and you can see we're at 9 wins, but I have not bothered to say that this is the final turn. Why is that? It's actually pretty interesting. You can see right here we end up drawing by 1 HP. If they had 1 less HP on their cat, we would have won right there, but instead we end up drawing. And it's going to remain like that for a little bit. We are not going to win. You still have to stick with me for a little bit until we scale up massively. Getting very lucky with the shop foods, but at the same time I did construct my pack in such a way that we do have lots of scaling foods and not a lot of perks. I think the only decent perk that I could be hoping for at this point is perhaps a melon. Here do we win? Actually no, we draw once again, and we continue to draw. Yep, let's start scaling some more then. Hopefully we prevent that next turn from happening, or if push comes to shove we just have to like push the badger up at the back and turn it conventionally, even though I don't want to do that. So yeah, instead I decide to sacrifice the cows to the badger, which I don't think is a good decision, but it is a funny decision. Very scary looking team right here. I have said it time and time again that you like or dislike going against summon builds when you have a badger on your team, and you can see why. They whittle us down and actually end up beating us. Maybe if we had a back badger it would have been different, but indeed we do not run that. So let us continue scaling instead, and hopefully we can win next turn. It's not looking scary at all because the team is actually pretty good and we still have 3 hearts remaining, but at the back of my mind is still that possibility of us losing this run and me rage quitting at the game. Just kidding, I don't do that, that's Grounded's job. But yeah, we do find a pretty interesting draw team right here. I guess they're not really intending to draw because they have both mushrooms and toads. And just barely they end up beating us because of the 1-up on the tiger, taking us out. But yeah, I believe finally this is going to be the turn where we win. And I finally cave and put the badger at the back, and I believe this is the reason why. But yeah, the white and black challenge completed. Once again, please check out Mqcks' video. I believe it had like 5 views or something, and I'll be keeping track of how many views it gains after the shoutout, so I really hope you check it out. But yeah, this is going to be the run. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope that you like, sub, do all the generic stuff, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.